Good morning. Welcome to your card of the day for Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th of March. Now today's card is Communication Co-Creation. Some really beautiful light language on this card. Anyway, so the key words are non-verbal communication, love language, telepathy, unique ways of communication, light language, multidimensional information, community coexistence, relationships, meeting our higher selves, really seeing someone, and deeper listening. And when I look at the card, I actually see a connection which I've really only seen in the deaf community, where individuals are truly present with each other when they communicate. You know, because in the deaf community, they communicate with sign. And if you're not fully intent on the other person, you're not going to hear them, right? You won't be able to see what they're signing. So there's a graciousness and presence that is just a part of communication in the deaf community. And what I'm seeing here in this image is the same thing portrayed, how it's that deep listening, that really deep listening, that being present with another person. So that's what our card today is. Now the divinatory meaning today is, how do you communicate beyond words? Perhaps you're being misunderstood because there's a dissonance between your words, action, and behavior, and what you mean to communicate. So is your communication missing the mark because you're not in full alignment with all parts of your being when you're communicating? It's important to remember that words are like spells, and I say this all the time. Words are spells. We spell words. When we say words, we're making a spell. So that's why it's so important how we use our words, and be conscious of what we say, as we may be verbally sabotaging our intended meaning. So an example of that is when we say, don't forget. Now, the human brain is an interesting thing in that it doesn't hear the negative before the forget. And so when we say to somebody, don't forget, we're basically saying to them, hey, just forget this, it's not important. And the brain won't remember. And instead, we reframe that and we say, remember. Right? Always use your words in the positive, because it's a spell. And it's also important to remember that words can mean different things to different people, which will mean that things can get lost in translation. You know, like the youngsters, there was a period, I don't know what's the latest at the moment, they're going, oh, that's real dope, man. You know, in my day, being real dope was like being a bit, you know, but now it's like real super cool. You know, and of course being super cool really meant you were really hot, right? So just small examples of how words can mean different things to different people, different cultures, but also even just different generations. I mean, the kids of today don't know what groovy means. You know, it's real groovy. but they don't know what that means. They probably think it's about, they probably think we're talking about the old vinyl records. It's very easy to lose things in translation when we use words that might mean different things to different people. So improving our communication can help clear up issues. Listening carefully to what someone has to say. Really listen and be present without interrupting, without thinking of what your answer is. Just listen to them and wait until they're finished. And then it doesn't matter if you've lost the train. It doesn't matter if you had something to say earlier. If you have to stick your bit in, then that's your ego talking. We let it go and we let the other person speak until they're finished. Then they feel truly heard. And it may feel scary for us to share our vulnerable truths. I know the first time I came on here and started sharing what my grief journey was like, it scared the hell out of me. I was terrified. I was raised to never share. I mean, emotion wasn't okay in my family of origin. Talking about emotions, feeling emotions was punishable. So being able to express my emotions, being able to express the depth of my grief was a very scary thing, but I knew I had to do it because I'm a messenger. And by me sharing with you what my journey was like, it normalizes it for you so that you know that it's okay to be feeling like you're drowning in a tsunami and you've got no anchor. And you're just being tossed by these terrible storms, and it's perfectly okay and it's normal. Sometimes sharing our vulnerable truth is the only way forward. Sometimes it's just the best way forward. This card, it also encourages greater exploration into the other realms of communication, like telepathy, healing, arts like poetry, painting, and music, where there's collective communication beyond the mind when we communicate from a level, from a space that is not in here, when we communicate from our hearts. So this card can represent several different things. It can represent that deep listening, which is a throat center thing, because our ears are tied in with our throat center. As we hear and we speak, and hearing and listening is a part of communication, which is the center. And that deep listening, because we know what a gift it is to be deeply heard, to not feel judged. Because when we're deeply listening, we're not judging. When we're deeply listening, we are truly connecting heart to heart. So in some ways, this is a card about non-judgment. And this is a real big one for me, judgment, because I see so much of it in the world. People pointing fingers at each other and not realizing there are three pointing back. And if you find yourself in a place where you're feeling judged, then remember that normally whatever someone's judging you for is what they can't face in themselves. Hold them with loving kindness. And if we can really do that, then we can show ourselves the same loving kindness and know that this is not personally directed, it's just this person in this judgment space. Keep sending them love, and with some luck and time and patience, hopefully they learn to communicate from their hearts too. So that's our message for today. May you find your path forward communicating from your heart to be a gentle, graceful and easy path forward. May you remember that your words are spells. And to be careful how you use them, and be aware of how others perceive your words. Communication, co-creation. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning. It's good night from me.